Welcome to Backwater Casting. I'm your host, Greene. Well, today we've made the trip back up to the Miramichi River for some more striped bass action. My guest today is actually a striped bass guide on the Miramichi in the spring, and he operates a restaurant in Shediac during the summer.
There's a few going right in the water here, you can tell. One nice thing about polarized glasses, you can see them all in the, you can see there's probably about 10 just passing through right now.
I am getting the net ready for the big one when it comes. Well, there we go. 5 minutes into the Miramichi and we are into a striper. That's not a bad way to start the morning off.
Not at all.
No. Third or fourth cast. There you go, puppy.
I'm just changing colors right now because it seems like Rick's catching on white. We're gonna try something a little bit different.
There. Not a giant, but a good way to start the morning off.
Fish on. There you go. Not very big, but it's a fish all nonetheless. That was the first fish.
Yeah, we've often said that it's worth the drive. And I mean, this is a 5-hour round trip for me from the house, maybe a little longer than that. But I mean, you can come up here and just catch fish after fish after fish. And to me, I would rather take the drive and catch a whole bunch of fish than have a short drive and only catch a few fish.
That's right. It's gonna be a lot of these, a lot of schoolies today. There you go. Nice little one.
It's hard to tell. You first hit one and you think, geez, that's a good one. Then you get him closer to the boat and he gets smaller as he comes in. It's like they shrink.
Oh, they have a good bite to them, even when they're small.
Well, saltwater fish are always tough as nails.
Oh, that's a bigger one.
Yeah. Okay, come here, come here. He might be a wee bit bigger than that first one I had, but. Oh, we had fish, where'd they go?
They're still there, they just don't want to.
They don't want to play.
They don't want to play, no. They seem like they don't want to grab on. They bite, they nibble, but they.
Yeah, even the other day we had a lot of them would just bump it.
Yeah.
There you go, fish
There
on
we
it.
go. That's a, see, these are very small fish.
Oh, we almost had a double header.
They're all small.
They're contending with the wind for sure.
Not too big. There you go back. Right now I'm putting a life jacket on. Just to be safe, you never know.
So what are you using, Oscar?
Right now I'm using a 5-inch sand eel. Oh, there's one.
No, we got a double. Oh, I thought we had a double header. No. I love that sound. Eh? That reel just peeled some line off.
Best sound is the drag.
Yep. God. Oh, too much fun. Oh, he's a little better too. Well, they shrink as they get closer.
Yeah, there's some nice fish passing right next to the boat. Like, so we'll get into some bigger fish.
This guy's actually might be my biggest one right here so far. I might even scoop him. He's not. I mean, so far this morning, not so far. He might be a little bit too heavy to just grab him and flip him in.
Oh yeah, that's a nice one, Rick.
There you go. That's half again as heavy as the biggest one I've had so far this morning. So if we can get another one half as heavy again and then do that again, after a while they get to be real serious fish. That's good though. You got a whole pile of them underneath them, Oscar.
I got a
There's
little
just
bass
school
again.
of them there.
It seems like Rick gets the big ones and I get the little smaller.
Yeah.
Well, that's all right. A fish is a fish. I'm not one to judge.
We'll do major league fishing. We won't count size, we'll count total weight.
Exactly. Total weight.
Total weight.
There you go. They're not big, but they're fun to catch. Plus, you know, when you put them back in the water, their chance of surviving are pretty good because they're not out for long.
No, there's minimal handling on these, and it's nice because you can grab them by that lower lip, and barbless hooks pop right out.
Yeah, I've been doing barbless on pretty much every river I fish striped bass right now. Even if they do allow barbs, I tend to pinch my barbs on everything I have. It just makes it so simple.
Yeah, it's good to use the barbless hooks as much as you can, like you say, on your other rivers and stuff. You're doing it on everything now, but for folks that are watching, it is mandatory on the Miramichi. Single barbless hook only on the Miramichi. But Oscar's taken that to all his other fishing, which is great. Well, as long as you keep tension.
That's right.
You know.
If you have tension on the line, you're going to be all right.
And you always have the chance in here of
exactly.
really getting into a real smasher.
You'll get some days that just won't be as good, but
this is already good.
This is already good.
This is already good. So like I said the other day when we were fishing, the bass are all good. Some of them are just bigger. There's a junior. This is kind of a shad colored Zoom super fluke. I went with the darker color right now because we've got a little bit of sun, but mostly it's been overcast, and I find the darker color works when the clouds are in. If we get some good bright sun, I'll switch to white after. I've already got one rigged. But for now, we'll stay with shad.
Oh, there's one on.
All right.
It's like you, they're following everywhere. Oh,
yeah.
They're even splashing. If you look at the bottom, you can see them.
What happens up here is the fish come up the Miramichi, and there's lots of sand flats up here. It's fairly shallow water. Although we're in 7 or 8 feet right now, but there's a big sand flat off to the side. And the females roll, and the males roll with them, and the females put eggs in the water, and the males fertilize them. And they need running water to have those eggs tumble down the river for a certain distance before they'll hatch. And DFO comes in when they think the peak spawn is on, which was last week, and they shut this whole area down for 5 days. And I would say we're still seeing the odd fish boiling on the surface in a ball, so I'd say we're close to the tail end of it. So there's still lots of fish around, but the spawn is basically at the end.
I've been guiding for about 6 years now. It just started off that I had somebody ask me if I wanted to bring them out, and I said yes. And I've been guiding since then, and now I end up spending about 3 to 4 weeks per year here. I really like guiding. If you come out fishing and people have fun, you know, it's really worth it. You've been switching up, and I've been switching to other things. And
well, you've gone through more colors than I have, though.
I
mean, you're really switching them around. I
think white's the best one.
Boys, look at them in the water.
Yeah, they're all chasing.
Yeah, there was about 8 or 9 of them under this guy. Gonna net this guy too. Just a little bit on the bigger side. No, he says I'm not coming yet. He might be my biggest one. Oh look, yeah, they're still underneath them too. Piles of them. Get in the net. Yeah, just piles of them come in.
That's the fun part. You see him follow them.
It's your lucky day, buddy. Barbless hook saved that guy right there because that was in him.
It's crazy what a little change can do.
Throw a few fish up on the...
Here. It's not too bad. It's better than the ones I've been catching. Because sometimes you can have all the bait in the world.
Look at them coming there too. I got one on, there's 3 or 4 more behind him. There's a school of them right underneath that guy, followed him in. Pretty cool. Up he comes.
That's a pretty nice one.
Yeah, nice chubby. It's funny, I had some folks up last week, they wanted to come up for a visit and come up here, and the guy was saying that how aggressive, and they were all feeding, and I said, it only seems that way because we're catching fish, but when you realize that for every one we catch, there's 100 that swam by the baits. They're not super aggressively feeding, you're just catching the odd one here and there that wants to eat. Because that fish I just had, there was at least 4 or 5 more fish underneath him when he came in. And I'm missing, I mean, Oscar's the same. You're out there and you just see that line jump and you feel that little tick. And they're not there, they're just kind of bumping it on the way by.
It's like they don't want to take him, but they just say, yeah, I'm going to just take it for this once.
Welcome back to Backwater Casting. In this part of the show, Oscar and I are continuing to target striped bass in the Miramichi River. And it does appear that the bulk of the spawn is now over.
I got me a bass, a striped bass I should say. Not a big one.
It's decent.
They sure like that fluke. Well, it wants to go back.
But when you're not guiding, Oscar, what is it that you do for the rest of the summer?
Well, I guide during most of May, and we do own a restaurant in Shediac, the Gabriel, and so once I'm done with the guiding, I am usually off to Shediac, and I'm going to help the missus with the restaurant. She does most of the work, but I try to do what I can, of course. But with the busy seasons and everything coming up now, you get guiding, and then you get restaurants, and then you get tournaments, and you get you know, all sorts of stuff, and you end up being pretty busy.
Look right behind. It's too bad the camera can't get at that. Eh? There's look at them behind them, just piles of them, just lots of them down there. I don't even see my bait. Come here. That's enough. That's enough. Up you go. Nice healthy fish.
It feels better.
Feels like a fish.
It feels like a medium-sized fish, not big at all. We'll just take it easy on this one. We'll just go and grab it. These stripers are not hard to handle, but when they're small like that, they can tear up your fingers quite bad.
Look at them underneath. Yeah, same thing, eh?
They're chasing.
Yeah, you see them swim under the boat. So the funny thing the other day that I noticed, it just falls right out, eh? That's just cool, as soon as you take the pressure off. I had 2 different styles of swim bait hooks. I had this one with the lead here, and then I've got some VMC ones that had a different shaped lead on them. These were catching the fish. It changes the action of that bait in the water, and they were not taking the other one. It baffled me because we were all using the same bait, and I couldn't figure out why one guy was catching fish.
Yeah.
And, you know, but anyway, just start paying attention, see what was going on. I thought it was the way he was fishing it, but I think it was the hook. I'll tell you one thing, there is a pile of fish on the bottom of here, right here.
Well, they like this fluke, I'll tell you.
Little patch of grass here.
You're not that big, don't act all tough. It's feisty for the size. Here, let me. I will do this pretty quick for you. Here you go, my friend. Another one. See if we can't get a double.
Yeah. This guy, I think, gave it all in the first 10 seconds or so. He slowed down on the way in. Junior. Come here. Yeah. Yeah, these are schoolies.
Oh, there's another one.
Got another one? There, Oscar's got one at the back, just back and forth.
Barbless. It's
Barbless. You can't do any better than that. It hit the water, the line just shot right straight out. So do you know how high up the tide influences the river?
yeah, the tide's going to come up quite a ways. It will definitely come up to here. They're feisty for little ones.
Oh, some of them are super tough. They just run.
Come here. There. This fluke doesn't matter if it's white or gray or pink. I don't think it much matters. The action it gives, it's pretty crazy.
This little bit, you've been getting more on that shad one than I have been on the white.
There we go.
Okay.
Seems like it's looking around.
There, he's loose now. he just unrolled himself. Yeah, more under him, chasing him too. Look at that dorsal sticking right up out of the water. I changed what I'm doing because the current's coming. That current's pushing up. I'm casting that way and letting it swing up, just like fishing trout. Stop, 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 stop.
I'm talking about the bait quite a bit, but I haven't even said anything about the rod. The rod that you gave me has very good action, so that was a nice bass. Because you're using like a 7-foot and not something like a 9-foot, you can just create a lot of action when you're reeling. And they tend to like that quick action pause, so. But look at all the fish in the water. It's like a big fish tank.
I was moving that fast. That's just a little guy. So that I changed up the speed on that and got him right beside the boat, and his buddy's underneath him there. So it was a little bit different on that guy. Mostly I've been letting the bait, I've been working it and letting it drop to the bottom. And that one, I'd thrown it quite a ways down, but there's a bit of current actually coming up, I think, because of the tide. And I was working it really fast, and he smacked it about 10 feet off the side of the boat. So a little bit different. So we're going to try and work this quicker and see if that works. So I got to ask you, Oscar, you guide for stripers, you own a restaurant. If in the odd case that you did take a striper home, how would you like to have it cooked?
My cooking style is usually just a beer batter. I like fish and chips, so oh, I just missed one. I'd be more tempted to cook it that way, but there's many ways you can fish, that you can cook striped bass. People just sometimes just cook them whole and put a few lemons and onions and all that in it, and slap them on the barbecue, and they make for a very good meal. I'm gonna just catch this fish and worry about releasing him and not talk about eating, because then they get scared.
Yeah.
There you go. Go back. I've tried all the expensive lures, and this little fluke is the game changer.
This guy's small enough, I just kind of swam him to the boat. There's his buddy down there. They all seem to come in with a buddy. And we found the other day when we were up here that they would not hit the bait with that hook and weight on it, but they would hit this one. And I wondered if it was the shape of this. It's more like a torpedo going through the water, and this one's a bit like a wedge. And it must have affected the action of the bait, because the guys who were throwing this were getting bit, and the guys that were throwing this weren't. I was gonna say, did you do that? You got a bunch of fish on the screen on the Lawrence here. There seems to be a lot of fish in this section. We're getting hit much more often than we're hooking up. It's just like they're coming up and slapping at it and going back down.
I'm going from a fluke to a fluke, but I'm changing colors. Nice thing about stripers, they chew up your baits quite quick. That was a bullet.
Oh, we almost had a double. That might be worth a picture.
It's not too bad. It's better feeling this one.
There we go, boys.
That's a nice pull.
Oh, that's got some pull to it. Yes, sir. Well, if he's not big, he's got attitude. It's too bad they're not like smallmouth, that they would just go right up in the air about 2 feet.
Yeah, if they
Tail
would
walk
jump
for 20 feet. Come here, big boy.
around mid-May, the bigger fish tend to come into the rivers. The water's a little bit colder, so they go in deeper water. So if you go around Beaubear Island and Logieville and all that, you'll end up catching quite a bit of good sized fish. That's where you'll probably see the 30 inchers, and it is a good fight for sure.
They say once again that barbless hook got a hold of him, took the tension off the line, and the hook just fell out on the deck. So, nice striper.
I think I've seen you before.
Or his brother.
Hit me right as soon as I hit the water.
Gotta love those ones.
But usually they're a little bit like mid.
Come on, baby. Well, it's too bad it's going to pour tomorrow, because I'd be tempted to drive all the way back up here in the morning.
Yeah, it makes for a good day.
Yeah. Well, it's just such a short season, relatively.
Oh, there's our double. Oh.
Oh, we had our double for a sec. Still have our double. There we go. We got another double. You're just milking that, aren't you?
Yours is bigger though. Yours is bigger. This one's feisty.
There we go.
There you go.
There.
There you go.
Yeah, mine's bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yours is bigger.
It's a daily double.
Yeah.
Oscar, that was a great day out there. Appreciate you taking your time away from your business
Not
to
a
come
problem,
up here
my
and
friend.
fish with us today. And it's nice. You get somebody that really knows the river. And when our bite kind of died this morning, you said, well, they went that way.
Yeah.
And they did go that way. So, I mean, that's a real bonus to have somebody with you that really knows the river.
Well, it's fun. Once you're on the river quite a bit, it helps. So you get to know a little bit of tricks here and there, and then you learn by just going out on the water and having fun.
Yeah, well, there's absolutely no substitute in the world for time on the water.
I agree.
Nothing at all.
It was really fun. I enjoyed it.